3, 2, 1. Boom! Live and direct on the Tru-Mon Show with my great brother Midas for the continuum of our reasoning about the 33 keys to unlock our full essence. Mr. Midas, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Tru-Mon, and hope you're having a nice time, and we're going to have a nice reasoning today, and give thanks for the listeners and the people them that is tuning in. Hope this reason they can observe something possible or positive from it.
Yeah, that's it. Take what's good and discard the rest.
Yes, we are not trying to convince anyone. It's just a reason. Anyone can participate and we move
Because
forward.
also the fact that it's live and direct on YouTube, sometimes I say things that I would say a different way if I re-listen to it. So you have to be very understanding of the fact that we are live, and sometimes that's it. I think before I talk a lot these days, but still, sometimes I could say things that if sometime I rewatch it, I say, I could have said it another way, but listen, it is what it is. Today we're gonna start this with the key 24, and it's quintessence responsibility, and that's it. In there, I talk about responsibility. Of course, that's the essence of that key.
Sorry.
And for me, responsibility is a big thing. We could have maybe a long reasoning about it, but responsibility, it gets confusing. It's a word that can confuse some people, some beings, due to the fact that we are under the impression that we are taking our responsibility, that we are responsible, that we are on top of our game and stuff like that. But I realized at one point in my life myself that I wasn't taking my responsibility to the level where it could be taken. And then when I talk about responsibility, for me, it's not about feeding my children and putting clothes on their back and making sure that they have everything to live and or survive, whatever. But it's about quintessence responsibility, which is also could be defined as divine responsibility. It's just I don't like the word divine. So I don't want to use the word divine. That's why I put quintessence, which is the divinity is the 5 elements also. So the ether, the fire, the air, the water, and that's it. So the 5 elements. So that's the quintessence. And I think we have a responsibility to, when I say quintessence responsibility, then we look at fire and stuff. Yeah, we should be on fire. Like we should have all those, the element is elemental. It's elemental. That's why you go to elementary school. It's at the beginning. So becoming part of nature or becoming part of the divine surroundings. I'm going to use word that everybody uses, but being part of it also come with responsibility. First of all, we have a responsibility towards the earth, towards the animals, towards other beings, your children, everything. So I think, but the main responsibility, I think that I've never seen really from the point of view that I see it today is the divine responsibility. It is the responsibility towards our creator. And I would like you to extend on that, Midas. Give me your opinion on that. Are the essence of our responsibility, which is completely. I think we are a lot like irresponsible brats. Like I see many adults, like most adults today, are just irresponsible brat, and they have grown up like this, and they think at one point they have let their infancy or their teenage years behind, but they're still playing with toys, still doing all the same thing that they were doing as baby, infant, or teenager, and they just projected doing it in another way. Like we have bigger toys. Instead of playing with the little cars, now you buy big cars and you play with it, and stuff like that. So we are And that, all that distraction, all that stuff that we go into that causes often secondary activities associated with that, makes us forget our responsibility totally. And maybe we make us forget, or we deliberately choose to forget who we are. What do you think, Midas? I'll let you go now.
Yes. Well, to be responsible is to realize and to take great steps within yourself to acknowledge when you do something positive or when you do something negative. Now, the most responsibility is when you do something negative. If you can take responsibility for when you do something negative and forgiving yourself for the negativity that you have done. And when I'm saying forgive yourself, I mean to stop it, because that's what forgiveness for. When you come to the realization of what you have done, then and you discover that it is negative, then you stop. And the more you can take that responsibility, is the more it will help you to educate yourself to move forward. And moving forward, let you feel more free. Free to do the things that is positive, free to do the things that you really care about, and for your brothers and sisters that you hurt when you was ignorant of what you was doing, it is nice to tell them that you're sorry and you could do much better, and you will learn to move forward and do much better. So some people believe that taking responsibility is to say I'm sorry. But I'm sorry is not taking responsibility. It's to stop the activities that you are doing, that you are hurting yourself and hurting others by your actions. And if you can really do that, then it's good for you to move forward. It is very hard for some people to do that because they hold on things that influence their vitality or mentality for so many years that they do not see it capable, or they don't see it capable of changing. Changing is hard. Two, starting all over again is going to be rough. But the only way you can start all over again is when you take responsibility for the negative things that you have done within your lifetime. And so you come to the discovery that you can do much better to improve yourself as a better or a positive, towards a positive human being.
I totally agree with you all the way. It's just one thing, then, and especially that's where I think we're a bit lost at sea. Is we don't see what we do wrong. That we don't see our doings as some things that can hurt, or even the words we speak. Very often we don't realize it can hurt others, but we don't care. All the hurt that we do to the earth and to the animals, but we don't care. So the caring part has to be there. But do you think also that taking responsibility often comes by seeing example and living example of responsibility? What I'm saying is, if your parents were responsible towards the earth and everything that surrounds them, there's great chance that you become a responsible being too. But if your parents are irresponsible brats, what example do you have in front of you? And when I say irresponsible brats, don't go overboard with my thing. It's really what it is. It's we very often we will complain constantly until we get what we want, or we don't do something if there's no instant gratification, like you work for getting a paycheck, money, pay by the hour, instant gratification. All that develop that brat mentality that at one point you have no patience for anything too, and you become very detached from you. That's it. The quintessence divine responsibility that you have. But I think the parents have a major impact in the life of a child, and influencing them to take responsibility. Were your parents, that's what I would like to you to share with us, were your parents beings that inspired you to be responsible and to bring the act out of yourself, like bring yourself to the light?
Yes. I grew up in a home or in a community where there was respect for the elders and manners for the elders. And at an early age, my grandparents teach me the values of caring for other people as well as caring for myself. Because my grandmother told me that if you don't care for yourself, you cannot care for others. If you are not kind to yourself, you cannot kind to others. And I must not accept the principle of the system, because growing up, my grandparents were so knowledgeable to know that they are living in Babylon, modern Babylon, because it's not since I reached an adult I know about Babylon. I grew up learning about Babylon from my grandparents, because they taught me that we were colonized by negative energy and negative teaching. And it is very hard that if you don't have that teaching from home. They used to tell me a simple thing: you have to learn to dance at your home before you can go abroad. That means to say you have to get full education of what the outside world is all about. Know positive from negative so that you can face the world when you reach out there. Now, I am not saying that everything I have learned I have practiced it right away. But as I mature a little, I say, I remember my grandmother used to tell me this, and my grandfather used to tell me that. Okay, they are right. So it was easy for me to just slip in to my past, growing up as a child, to really recognize that what they were teaching me were fundamental respect and acceptance of myself, because if I have these qualities within myself, then I can share these qualities with other people of the world.
Yeah, because I truly trust that it's easier to build children than to repair broken men and women. Like when you get to a certain age, it gets more and more difficult to for you to wash your brain. So yeah, at one point, I think it's very important to tell the children the truth. That's what Bob used to say. The great Bob Marley, tell the children the truth. Me, that's what it makes a lot of noise in my ears. That stuff, and for me, it's not my grandparents or my parents or so much. To me, it was Bob Marley that started to educate me on Babylon, or giving me some teachings. I prefer teachings than educate. I don't like the eight in educate. So yeah, teachings. I was listening a lot to Bob Marley, and that's the teaching I had, and that's where I realized that I was living in the baby land, Babylon. So yeah, that's really what it is. That's why I think it's called Babylon, because it's the baby land. It's the land of the babies, and it's just now we have took off the diapers as we grow up, but it's still very much because we do not take much responsibility towards the earth. We take that's what I'm saying. I was saying before. We are under the impression that we are responsible. This is the thing. So how do you come to unless you have the self-realization, like you said, that what you're doing is wrong and what you're saying is wrong and stuff, until you realize it yourself, you're not gonna change. So even if I come to you and I tell you you're an irresponsible brat, if you're in your head, you're responsible. So I think it has a lot to do with self-realization. That's what you were saying, right?
Self-respect, self-realization, and accept that what you are doing doesn't serve you as a person, or it won't serve your neighbor or other people around the world. You see the difference is that when all the rats meet everyone, is a rat fight. But if you can escape from the rat race and realize that the rat race is every man or every woman for themselves, as I was telling you, this nice little saying or song that I used to hear my grandmother say, that do not selfish in your doing, pass it on. Because if you live for yourself, you live in vain. But if you live for others, you will live again. Do not selfish in your doing, pass it on. So when you can cut out all these rat race negativity from your life, and the next thing, anything that a person do they know, because it manifests within themselves first before it manifests outside. So what you think it about other people, or what you perceive about other people outside of you, that's what you really is inside, because that you are taking your concept inside of you and judging other people outside of you because of your example that you have created within yourself. So most time people judging people by what they perceive inside of them, because that's what they really is. So they have to do that. But the greatest thing in life is to know, and when you know, it is up to you to make the changes. And if you don't want to make the changes, it is up to you also, because no one can do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. And that is part of taking responsibility for your own doings, whether they are negative or whether they are positive. You know, if you take care of the earth, you're taking care of yourself. If you take care of the water that you drink, you are taking care of yourself. If you take care of the trees and the animals and everything that exists with life through the universal earth here, then you will be taking care of yourself, because people pollute the water. And when they drink the water, they blame the water. They do not want to blame themselves. Because if you poison the water, you cannot blame the water. You have to blame yourself. You blame yourself for the pollution that you created and get it into the water system. And when people start to sick, who's to ever manufacture those chemicals or those poison is responsible for the people them that is ill, or it mental damage or something like that. So it need a cooperation of I and I as human beings on this universal planet Earth to work together to make things work in a positive way, and that is responsibility.
Yeah, and we have to be clear also that not taking responsibility is not only going to affect, it's not something just for your
Sorry.
acquaintances or for like it can lead you to your death. Like you can die not taking responsibility, not right away, but in the long run, like you are responsible for the food that you put in your mouth, the water, the drinks, the all that. So if you are not, and many beings today are very responsible in that manner and do not prepare food for themselves, that's another thing. That's another major part of starting to take responsibility is taking care of your body and putting good food into it, and you yourself preparing your food. Like you don't have to rely necessarily on some like this is, but that takes training. I think it requires a certain training to start taking major responsibility. And also that response, it's the word says it, response ability, we have it. It's just we decide to let it go or to put it aside, or and then many vital parts of our being is affected. Our willpower will be directly affected by our lack of responsibility. Many vital parts. Here I name a few. Hold on. Uh, your goals, your acquaintances, like your relationship. I don't like relationship, the word so much, but yeah, your acquaintances and the way you behave and the way you go out in the world will be affected by that for sure. So yeah, taking responsibility in order to serve other beings and to serve higher genuine love is a must, right?
Well, people so people through education is so polluted by the systematic teachings that they become hooked to the teachings of the system, and they become dependable on the system to survive, that they do not want to let go because they are so attracted to what is coming into their mentality or vitality, that they do not want to let go because it is very exciting. You see, negativity is very exciting because it attracts your mental being. But the fact, the truth, and love, it don't have to attract no one or force anyone. It is always be there. It is up to a person to make their choice, because it's by your choice you're going to determine the man or woman you want to be. And when you recreate yourself, how you want to educate your children. Sometimes you try your best with your children, but when they go out in the world, they fall in the said trap or in the said gutter of the systematic pollution, and they need to grow up to learn to take responsibility and to take a time out from excitement and take time out from attraction and to look on the reality of what life serve us, because life is always serving us. We are not serving life. Life is serving us. I and I. Life is serving. So we must always learn to know that the system of mankind is different from the reality of life. And if we can separate ourselves and look on the bright side of life and don't pay attention to the systematic side of mental darkness, then you can really free yourself, and then you learn to take responsibility for your own self buy the right food to eat, exercise, subtract yourself from plenty things that the system have to have you attracted to, and to know the dangers that they have. And so you can really manifest yourself and expand your liberty to a higher heights, so that you can always be on the bright side of life. Because when you are I and I is on the bright side of life, you can see clearly what is taking place. You can see the dangers that is in the way, and so you have enough time to eradicate yourself from the dangers that Babylon set up as a trap for you, so you can really more positive in your liberty and more positive in your advancement or your evolution through life.
Yeah, because after all, it's gonna help you a lot. Also, taking responsibility and saving your own vibe. Like what we said before, you have to save yourself from yourself. So taking responsibility will have a direct effect. Not direct. I don't like that word. I like it, but I don't like it. There's the direct. Like I don't like it.
A live wreck, man. A live wreck.
A
Live wreck.
live wreck.
Yes. Live
Anyway,
wreck. It's
I'm
not die.
struggling.
It's
I'm
not
struggling.
die, man. It's live wreck, man.
Yeah, struggling a bit with the words because today every word I speak, I kind of put it into my ears and brew it and see if it makes sense. But yeah, I think taking responsibility will have a direct effect on saving yourself from yourself. What do you think?
Well, you see, you have evolved from direct to live wreck.
Live wreck.
Live wrection or live living.
Yeah,
Take out direction and all them things there. It's live living or life living. Life iration.
live Irish, and I like that.
Yes. You have to move with life iration. So all them direction, you see everything in Babylon is death.
It's
So
that
that's why they teach so much words.
even direction.
Yes.
Like it's a direction. Like
Yes.
uh, t- anyway, today
When it
I
is the liberation or life ration or iration, you know? So when you start to find out the polluted words within the systematic language, and you're trying to make a change,
exactly.
people think you are crazy. That's why them they start to label you as crazy. You don't want to be one of us. Of course, I don't want to be. It's not to say I don't want to be one of us, but I don't want to continually be in the rat race. I have to eradicate myself from the rat race.
That's what some beings constantly indulge in, and they, without even knowing it, they stuck in a rat race on the hamster wheel, and they will go all their life on that, and it seems normal unless you find that not very normal. Then you start realizing and taking a pause in your life, maybe, and making some change in your behavior. But yeah, for sure, the here, what I say in the book, just to read a little part of it, pushing yourself to personal ownership, okay, to do what you feel is right, what you know is right, empowering us all, at times may be harsh, for sure. That's the high road to achieve mine, tenure, feeling secure, willpower, and to be forgiving. All those qualities are, in my eyes, essential to free your being from that self oppression of not because the self oppression is directly related to not taking responsibility.
Well, you see, self down pressure, and you know, is not hope.
Yeah, down pressure, oppression.
Yes, it is self down pressure, because you're mentally and physically down pressing yourself. You do not want to evolve, to make a forward move within the systematic realms, because people are afraid that other people is going to say you're strange, how you're doing. So everybody want to be with the crowd. Everybody want to be with the rat race crowd. You understand me? Hustling and bustling and stealing. It not really say you're stealing material things, but you are stealing your own self by not taking ownership of yourself, by not taking the responsibility to look down within yourself, to know that you cannot stay any longer in the rat race. Because when you are in the rat race, you are in the swamp. You are in the Babylonian swamp. You know? You are in the romantic swamp. That's why you see people talking about romantic.
Oh, I never seen it. That word romantic.
Yes, it's Rome. Romantic.
Roman.
Yes, it's romantic. You're caught up into the romantic scene of
Wow.
the rat race. That's why you see people always use this word romantic. When people tell me about romantic, I say, man, I am Zionmantic, man, and I deal with no Rome business. It's
and
I deal with. I cannot deal with your Rome business because I know what Rome have done already. Because I know said this personally system and the swamp that we are living in and the rat race was founded by Rome, romantic.
wow. That's a big one. I took note of that. And also, you can have books. Like you read a book in French. It's I don't know if it's called a roman in English, but c'est un roman en français. Un book with a fantasy story. Là, it's called a roman.
Yes, it's fantasy.
Yeah.
And when you don't caught up in the fantasy, remember, fantasy means that you cannot see. It's fantasy.
Fantastic.
That means you're not seeing. You're mentally in illusion, superstition. You know, you cannot see what is going on. Younger think you see what you don't see because you are in the fantasy. That means to say you are mentally blind. You're spiritually blind. You're consciously blind. That's why you have the three blind mice leading all the mice.
Yeah. And
You know, is an eye for an eye, and everyone dealing with an eye for an eye. Then everyone become blind because nobody cannot see because it's one eye for another eye. So no one cannot see. So when you cannot see, you're in fantasy land.
directly in fantasy. Yeah, no, that's something I realized myself that I was a lot into a fantasy. But at one point, that's it. You start. That's it. Acknowledging your duty, and to me, responsibility is a duty. And again, it's not a duty to save the world. From what I understand or overstand of responsibility, it's not to save the world. The world doesn't revolve around me, and so at one point it's to really take your responsibility on your personal level. Like I think it's a lot about that, and it's not I don't come here to pretend that I'm gonna first of all, you're never gonna change the world. I don't think together we can do it together, but alone you can only change yourself and hope to that it will impact the world. And probably if you do something good in this world, if you show up with good energy and a good vibration, a good vibe, people dig that stuff. And we're not completely insensitive. We're just very programmed to decline responsibility. But the moment you accept it, and like I say, this is taking responsibility for me to come here and to come out of my shell and to face the world, whether it's on YouTube or you bring me into a crowd of 5,000 people, I'll do the same. I'm not going to be have a different speech or be a different guy. Or no, it's taking responsibility also is also being true to yourself, right?
Yes, you have to be true to yourself. And when you're true to yourself, you can realize that I am living in this world, but I am not part of this world. Because I am living in modern romantic and modern Babylon, but I am not part of the systematic fabrication of it, because I have educated myself to really realize the situation that I am in. I am not saying that I am 100% perfect, but I diligently make it an order to myself to work very hard so I can rebuild myself as a loving and a truthful being with resting on a branch of the tree of life, the positive tree of life, so that I can move forward. Because is thousands and millions of people come telling you that they're going to change the world. But they don't realize that the world is people. The world is not a planet. The world is people. The environment, the political, the religious system of the world. That is the world. The social order. The educational, the scientific, or whatsoever engineering achievements of what go into building the world. You know, and you have to look on the bright side to realize or to educate yourself that I do not want to be a part of the rat race world. Sorry, I prefer to do my best for myself, because the only way the world can change unless people change themselves. Because we are the world and we are the people. And if we're living in a negative aspect of the world and what the system of the world have to offer, I mean to tell you the fact. Some people in this world is happy. You know? Some people don't want to make changes to nothing because they are happy. But I could not be happy in a world like this, where there's no equal rights and justice and respect for human dignity. I have no respect for humanity or humanity. You know? Down pressure, segregation, racism. I don't want to participate and be a part of this kind of world. No, I have to evolve myself from this kind of world so I can find higher ground in higher heights.
You know, I often say I can hold the joy in the moment, no problem. Like I can be very joyful, happy. The moment I started to open my eyes to that world I live in, the word happy did not make sense at all for me. And when I see other beings saying they're happy, they want to reach happiness, and like that word for me is like a super big la la land fantasy thing. Like, how can you pretend to be happy when the whole world's going to crash and going to like there's suffering and very, like, I have no word to truly describe what we do to the earth and to the animals and to everything around. Like, so much suffering, so much beings living hellish existence, and I'm supposed to be in my box here and pretend to be happy. I'm not a happy person. I'm not happy with what I it might sound negative to some beings. They're gonna say, "Oh, he's negative," but no, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what I see around me. So I don't think I will ever be happy on Earth. I can hold the joy very easy. I'm a very joyful person, but I'm not happy with what I have, with what I see around me.
Yes, but you can't let those things disturb you.
Yeah, it's hard.
You cannot let those things disturb you because you cannot change those things.
Yeah,
You
that's
have to make the changes within yourself. You have to create happiness for you. You know? Put it this way. If you are evolving yourself or eradicating yourself from the system, then you must be happy because when you discover truth, you must be happy. When you discover love, you have to be happy because to know the truth and to live in love is happiness and joy.
I prefer the word joy. I can use happiness too, but it's the sense. It's like love. You some beings here talk about love, but they do not act as loving being. Like they're very barbarian, demonic sometimes. So I wonder where what that signified, that word love for some beings. So that's why sometimes even the word happy, what it signify in my eyes, happiness can have a certain signification or every, but when I look around and I see other beings trapped in hell and pretending to be happy, like it's total ignorance, it's total fantasy.
But some people is living in hell and think they live in heaven.
Yeah,
Some people live in heaven and think they live in hell.
yeah.
That's why I don't want to put myself in the mental situation of hell or the mental situation of heaven. I mean, those two words is fantasy for me. Those are the people them who living to die. I am not living to die. I am living to continue living. But but there's no difference between the word happiness and joy. Joy is happiness and happiness is joy. There's no difference between the two words. It's just because our Babylon language is complicated. He wants people to think that happiness is different from joy and joy is different from happiness, but there's no difference.
Yeah, because you're joyful, you're happy.
Yes, there's no difference. That's why they do these things the way they do it, man. They always want to pick a side. It's always picking a side. You understand? Babylon is picking a side. They
And
don't want you to concentrate on yourself. They don't want you to see the truth. They want you to see fantasy, which is when you become mentally blind. You're in Lolo land. You know? You're so romantic. You're wrapped up with romantic. You know?
that's a
But
good one.
no, love is the life you live. And if you live the life of love, you will always be on the side of truth. And when you're into that spiritual vibration living, then you're feeling joyful. You're full of joy, joyful.
But there's always a transition. Like if you take me, for example, we take I'm the one sitting here with you. So if we take me, I kind of woke up in this world that want to bring age into the portrait like 6 years ago, maybe at the age of 40. So it's kind of late a bit, and there's a transition that needs to happen because I've been living under heavy Babylonian programming, but heavy. Yeah, it's still heavy because I wasn't taking responsibility to the level I can take. And yeah, that's it. I think it's that transition period can take a certain time for the beings to adjust to the level of responsibility that they have to take here on Earth. Like I don't think because I suddenly realized the sun was moving in the sky that whoa, I'm responsible for a lot of things now, or I feel the responsibility. Like it's something you feel responsible, you feel you have to serve. But if you don't bring your being to feel those feelings, how can you ever realize anything? So I think there's a trend. I don't think we should put so much stress on ourselves, because we have eat. For my part, I always say I say often that I've ate blood and I was a vampire and stuff like that. But I've decided to just have a better. I feel better with myself, also taking more responsibility towards the food I eat. Then, like at one point, you become very toxic, also, in your being, if you do not take responsibility.
When you are living the truth, you are living love.
Yeah.
And when you are living love and truth, you are setting yourself free. And you cannot let anxiety get into your psyche. You must give thanks and praise every day for the changes that you are making. Because you're not here to prove nothing to the world. You're here to prove it to your own self. And you have to realize 40, living 46 years, and for the last 6 years, you are transforming yourself.
Oh yeah.
Just look the lot of things that you learn in 40 years that is so corrupted to your brain. So now that you have seen the light and you decide to stand up for your right, now you decide to stand up and wise up and acknowledge that the system that you are living in is not worthwhile fighting for or sacrificing yourself for, but you have the ability to rise up out of it and to rebuild yourself and to rebuild your own environment. That is the way you can be free. That is a part of your responsibility to uplift yourself to higher heights.
There's a major factor also that we cannot forget to mention here that prevent beings from taking realizing their responsibility here towards higher genuine love or divine, and it's the psychological fear. And that is a big one because for me, the moment I started to let go a bit of those insecurities, I felt more free and more free to act and to speak. So this is just, I think, also the fear of, because once you start taking seeing your responsibility and taking them or living your responsibility, you're gonna be like people are gonna kind of judge you. Like me, I don't really. I have no concern what people think of me. I say it often, and that's the probably the best freedom, feeling free you can have. The free feeling you can have is the not care so much about what other beings think of you. But once you start taking that kind of responsibility towards creator, or I don't know if he's up there or down there. Like, I don't know what's the whole thing about that. That's very mysterious to me still today. But yeah, go ahead.
Listen.
I see you want to tell me something now.
No, when you come to the acknowledgement that you are part of the creator and the creator is part of you, there's nothing to look up there for or to look down here for, because you are part of what it is.
Ah,
So if you are part of what it is, you're not looking nowhere for it,
it's
because you
within you.
are part of what it is. You're not looking around for nothing. because you are part of what it is. You are part of the Creator. The Creator is part of you, because the earth is the Creator and the fullness thereof, and all they that dwell therein.
But sometimes I think a lot about that God creator and all this, and it's something that always fascinated the human psyche, because uh, we've never really seen any flesh manifestation of a creator. So, unless we have us, I know you say it's within us, but I cannot get up one first light and say, okay, I'm going to create a tree, or we can come to create certain species and stuff. But I don't know. There's something that tells me there's a higher force than what I have within me. I don't know. So I'm very, very humble when it comes to higher forces here on Earth. I think it's very powerful what's going on, and I'm only like starting to realize all that stuff. So
Each one of us, whether the birds, the ants, mankind, the animals, the insects, each one of us have the creative force in us to create our own environment. Our own environment. When you see the water, you see the Creator. When you see the universe, you see the Creator. When you see the earth, when you see the mountain, when you see the trees, when you see the animals, when you take in the breath of life, when you see the sun shining, when you see the moon shining, all of the mechanism that keep the universe together, including I and I self. We are part of the Creator. The Creator manifests itself within I and I.
I follow you 100%, but for 40 something years, I've been blind to a lot of stuff. Blind to a lot of stuff, and to like, I think this is why I'm not the only one like that, but I've never like had the ability to see the unseen, and we're talking about seeing the unseen. So I have to still like walk the earth a bit more to train myself to see these things. Like I acknowledge, I like you, that yes, the creator is in each of like the super creator vibe is in everything, but that's the unseen. Like to see the creator in a tree, and a frog, and a mosquito, like it's often beings just want to kill flies and kill mosquitoes and kill everything that's around. So we certainly do not see what has to be seen here. We don't even see what's in plain sight.
Everything you can see it, man. What you cannot see. When if you see yourself, you have two eyes and all the organ and mechanism that build up your inside. All the mechanism that is in the universe is inside of the I and I also. You know? We have two eyes that we can see. We speak words. We have the breath of life going out and coming in. We manifested, we manifest ourselves in the flesh that other people can see I and recognize I and I. The tree manifested itself also. That all of it is a manifestation and the creativity of the creator. To know if you come to the realization and you come to the higher heights that you are part of the creator and the creator is part of you. There's nothing for you to searching for again, because it is written, the foolish man have dreams, but the wise man have vision. And when the wise man have vision, he is not dealing with fantasy anymore, because the fantasy have come out of his vitality, so he can see clearly. And I said, the truth is the number one reality of the Creator. Because when you see the tree is the truth and it's the reality. When you see the ocean, it's the reality. Everything is made in male and female. You have salt water, you have fresh water. You have valley, you have hills. You have big tree, you have small tree. You know? You have upper earth, you have downer earth. The downer earth is the female part of the universe. The upper earth is the male part. They work in coordinates with each other. That's why I and I must work with I and I, female, man, in coordinates like the universe. You know, the moon is doing its work, it's the female part of the sun. The sun, Ra, is the male part. Everything is working in coordination. The whole universe is working in coordination, male and female, partners together. That's why we must learn with our female companion to be partners together. That's why we have a home. We create our home. We create our own environment. We have our female partners together to prolong our creation or recreate ourselves. But at the same time, we are partners together working to make each one happy or joyful and to teach each other about the truth and the reality so we can create happiness, so we can know ourselves. But what has happened, the romantic system and the Babylon system, because listen, the romantic system is a male part of the system. Babylon system is a female part of Rome. And the two of them work in coordination together each and every day to suppress and downpress I and to manipulate I that we cannot see the light of the Creator or the truth. So, now that you know the truth, now that you have seen the light, then you have to stand up for your right. And standing up for your right is to eradicate and evolve yourself from the so-called system, which is a man-made system, and a man-made is man-made, is satanic. You know, because Osiris or Asar, then make I use Osiris because that people know. As Osiris represent the positive. The next brother represent Set. Set create the system of Satanicism. So Babylon and the romantic thing is the philosophy of Set, Satan.
Why the sunset?
No, but the sun and name the sun, Babylon I call it sun, it name Ra.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the
Yes,
other thing. It's more rough.
yes, is him change up everything. Is him fix up some fantasy name and I tell you what it name and all those things.
And also to bring a lot of confusion, they bring anagram and all kinds. They play with the words a lot to have the same sound and same.
The moon is mute. Is him change the word. Him see the word Christ and you know understand that is KRST. He come and fix up and I tell you about CHIRST and Jesus giant and planet to manipulate people's mind. And some people, they see the truth, but yes, still them have to hold on upon Jesus and hold on upon God. Because you know what? God is politics and religion. I can tell anyone that God, the word God is the head of politics and religion. And politics and religion represent romantic and Babylon. It represents Rome and Babylon. See? So people just hold on to their fantasy and speaking from their speaking words, and I say, oh, I am not like Tom, I am not like John or Mary or whatever it may be. But yes, still, listen, they speak so much from their lips, but their works and their heart is far away from the reality of the truth and the fact.
Yeah, and it's I think Peter Tosh said the lips of the righteous teaches many.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. So yeah, so now that we start taking responsibility for our life, the next thing also is to key number 25. It's enlarging our sense of quintessence charge. Like we can live charge or we can be dead with energy. Like to me, the quintessence charge, I'm just going to read the beginning. Each of us could serve as a living guide to others. Our actions can cast either the bright glow of beauty or assistance to the far corners of our influence, or a shadow of hypocrisy and mesmerizing with the unlucky few nearest to us. Our striving for a better life and a better self can leave others inspired if the striving comes from a genuine place of serving, or shrink if it comes from a place of greed, jealousy, or spite. So we must have the fortitude to ask in that insane era, am I seeking to own my feelings persistently for all those I love plus serve? Am I lifting up those around me? Am I in some way elevating humanity by aiding others to pursue or spark a journey to truth? Am I living a truly aligned life? Great question. Great stuff to question. So yeah, enlarging our sense of charge. I want to hear you on that.
Well, enlarging your sense of charge is acknowledging, is educating yourself about the knowledge within yourself and to be a wise man within yourself. Because it's to expand your vitality or your mentality, as how they want to call it. And when you expand your mentality and you come to the acknowledgement about the fact of life and why you are here and the purpose you are here, then you can see the bright side at all times. So you learn to transform yourself. And learning to transform yourself is discovering who you really are, or who you really is in the English language, or they want to put it at any cost. So it's to uplift yourself. Uplift yourself from the bottomless pit of the swamp. Rise up, communicate with Ra, who they call in Babylon the sun, communicate with Newt, which Babylon call the moon. Because Babylon, listen, Babylon is here to confuse you. The word Babylon means confusing, to confuse you. Babylon come to Africa or Akibulan, and he learn about spirituality. He run and fix up his thing and call it Christianity. But Rome come to Akibulan or Africa, learn about religion, because religion means education, The word religion originally meant or mean education, to educate. He run and fix up and join it up with him Christianity and call everything religion. But if you check his institutions, the fathers, them is the professor, the schools and teachers, is that them doing. Meanwhile, the fools that is following them is dealing with religion. The word father mean a teacher. That's why you see in the Catholic Church, the fathers them and the nuns. You see in the Catholic Church what they do? They call woman nun. She's nothing, you is none. Is the men hierarchy rule up here. And they control the institution, they control the education. And they don't want to tell you that religion means education. No, it tells you if you find some comfort into the mythology of Jesus, or the mythology of Zoot, or whatever they want to call it, or the picture of, we don't know who's that identification. Your sight is a picture hanging on the wall. And everybody bow down night and day, admiring and worship the picture that is hanging on the wall. And yet still, thou shalt not bow to graven image. But yet still, the people is bowing to the image of Babylon. Stone and papers and drawings. Everybody bow down to, because they caught up in the word religion. But nobody want to educate themselves, to eradicate from the system, which is the satanic system in which some people of the world have adopted and suppress the Osiris spiritual liberty, that you can in coordination with the spiritual powers of the universe to educate yourself, to know who you are, so that you can rebuild yourself to a man, a living man, so you can be part of the tree of life within yourself.
Yeah, I like what you said also about the religious people into school, and that's true, very true. Because here, just here in Quebec, all schools were governed by religious people before, mostly nuns, des sœurs. Et en français, on les appelle les sœurs et des frères. Il y avait des sœurs et des frères, but des prêtres. I don't know. Anyway, but they're called nun in English, yeah, and they were into schooling and everything, so they have their hands everywhere. The romantic people.
Yes, the Roman. Yes, man. Look at it this way: the working class and the poor go to public university, right?
Yeah.
The ruling class, they go to the private university. They go and study how to continue to rule over the world, the working class, to have control. Because listen, if you go to the public university in Canada and you graduate as a scientist, then or an engineer, and a next student graduate with the said honors from a private university, when you go to get a job, you have 99.9 chance of doing getting the job. Or the person that go to the private, you then call it Ivy League here. Ivy, you then call it Ivy League. It's special. It's the ruling class. Go to that. If you want to be part of the ruling class within Babylon system, you have to go to the Ivy League. Uniblind, which run, all of them run by Presbyterian, by the Catholic religion, or Protestant religion.
Are in the chat there. Karen, Will, bonjour, Will of Earth. We are making a slow turn to heaven. There is a God spirit conscience that can be pinpointed, all knowing, invisible, needed nothing. It's the conscience of all life, past, present, and future, living in one infinite moment. Yeah. Virtus.
That is religion.
Okay, you're there.
Carrie might not agree with me, but that is what religion teach. That is, yes, that is what the politics treat. God is the head of the religious and political system of this world. See, it have nothing to do with the creator. It have nothing to do with the universal assembly of human beings that really exist here. So when they manipulate, I am not trying to change her, you know. My sister, I am not trying to change you because two roads before you and you have to make your choice. But I can say to you, my sister, the creator is not invisible to I because I am here on this planet from the beginning of man until now. I reproduce myself in different stages, always. The creator is not unseen. There's no secret about the creator because the creator is the universe and the universe is the creator. So there's no unseen for I. But no one, because I don't have her experience in this world and she do not have my experience. But my experience in this world and what I know, that God is the head of all political and religious system that separate mankind into the rat race of the romantic and the Babylonian institutions that keep mankind in physically slavery and mentally slavery. And that is what we are fighting against. Principal, principalities and powers in high places, dark people. When I say dark people, people with dark mentality in high places that pull a wool over the eyes of people by educating people in fantasy and superstition so that they can have control over mankind. I come to the realization that I have to eradicate myself and transform myself from all these kind of things so I can free myself to know the truth. And when I know the truth, I acknowledge and know the fact. And when I know these things, I come to know what is love. And when I know love, truth, and fact, then I can set myself free by action.
And also we can start training ourselves to be virtuous beings like we should be, like the end goal in all this. I don't know if there's an end goal, but the goal is to become virtuous beings as we know we can be, because we can put all the words on virtuosity and all the great stuff, but sometimes it's the act that is missing in the whole thing. Here I have put together like the 9 virtues of magnificence. I'm just going to read that a bit. What precisely should we virtuously empower in ourselves? Becoming a sentient earthling, being vigilant to both our shortcomings plus our strengths, a ready willpower to be humble in our service to the world. And the world and the earth, you were talking about that before. I think we're very caught up in the world and we're very absent from the earth. I think that's what's happening. And Jabba, I have another great brother that came to reason with me here. Jabba from Switzerland, another reggae singer from the band Moonraisers. And he came to reason with me, and he always told me that. He said, Yannick, there is the world and the earth. He said, I live on the earth. The beings are caught up in the world, the Babylon and all the words of Babylon and that. But once you start joining yourself back with the earth, it's a whole different feeling. And then you start feeling the truth of your being. You start opening your eyes, being an observant, like observe what's going on, like the trees, observe the trees, the animals, the celestial bodies. That's it. So we will do the deed needed by inspiring, plus challenging ourselves to act with virtue in any part of our lives upon that we have influence. Let us sow the seeds of love by inspiring the 9 virtues of magnificence. And those I think are honesty, empower honesty, responsibility, intelligence. This one I might change it. I put excellence, but I know the X thing is not the best, but excellence would be more like proactivity, maybe empower proactivity more than excellence. willpower, respect, vigilance, humility, and truity. I think if you have that baggage and you work on that each and every day of your life, you will become a virtuous being, as everyone can be. Like we don't come here to be evil and barbarian, demonic. We come here to be love being and see the light and let go of our dark existence or stance, our dark stance that we take living here. What do you think?
If we were born in an environment, right? Or put it this way then, in a positive world created by positive people. Remember, the world was created by positive people until positive people allow negative people to overcome and take it over. Now there's a reason for that. Is for mankind to learn the difference between negativity and positivity. Because if it was only one thing alone, you couldn't know the difference. So when you know the difference, then it's up to you to make a choice. Remember, religion or politics don't teach virtues. It doesn't teach morality. It doesn't teach integrity. Everything is a rat race. Is unselfishness and suppression and downpression. Because remember, the first slave for Babylon or the Satanicism was woman. A woman must realize that the Satanic and the Babylon and the romantic system use woman first as the first slave. Is when they start to go out around the world to thief riches and material glory, then them realize that they can transform from using their women as slave, but slave other women from other part of the universe that they have discovered. See? So they can create a thing named economical slavery. So some women might believe them free, but none of us is free. None of us is completely free. Everyone is living in the romantic and the satanic and the Babylonian system here right now, right? So virtues does not, you cannot go to none of the uniblind or the university and there is a subject about virtues. You cannot go to none of these place institutions and there's a subject about morality, right? There's none of them you can go and educate yourself about love. Me not talk about fantasy and sex. Me not talk about love. Love which is a way of life. See? But you can go to all of them to learn to be an economical thief. You can go to all of them and learn how to be a religious thief. How to down press other people and take away them have and sell them fantasy within them brain. See? Then when you go learn theology, is a theory about what do exist. When you go and learn economics, it's called economical science. Is a scientific way how you can steal from other people so you can make yourself material wealthy and in turn suppress and downpress other people of this universe. And when the suppress and the downpressure of people, when they start to rebel against the ruling system of the world, then they want to kill you, they want to incarcerate you, they want to put you in jail, they label you as all kind of manner of things, then come up with them little slick thing, oh, liberal and conservative and extra right and extra left, and who's communism and who are not communism, and the left at this and the right at that. All of them is the saidism. Communism, capitalism, religiousism. See? All of them is ism. Politicalism or ism. All of them is ism. They are not making any changes for us. Is the said one tree of good and evil, which romantic and Babylon created from ancient of times. Say, hey, if you're a liberal, you're better than who that is conservative, and if you're conservative, you're better than liberal. So the political system or the science of it set up. People go to vote. What are you voting for? Leaders are not elected, they are selected by the ruling power of the world that you don't know about. You never see. They never come and talk to you. All the prime ministers of the world and presidents and dictatorship military leaders have to deal with these few people that run the world.
And we're so blind in that sense because every 4 years there's the Olympics. They go compete in sports together, all in the same arena, all the countries of the world almost, and then they organize war. You tell me they can go to war, but then after that they get friendly into Olympics and all kinds of ceremony like that. That tells me they're all in cahoot together, but we don't see it like that. Like I've never seen Canada in cahoot with USA or Russia or any other country to conspire with the world, but that's what's happening. And like, if you think they're not chummy, they're all chummy together.
Yeah, imagine the president of the United States meet with the president of Russia, and everybody who here is getting swelled. Them is friend, man. Is friend long time.
Yeah.
Is manipulating people. You understand me? When the Olympic come, you go and worship. Is a glory and worship for the female part of Babylon or the romantic thing. That started in ancient Greece for the female sexual god, the sexual goddess of the system. The Olympic business is what them call it? Is the sexual prostitution. You go worship. Don't you see you have to run half naked? Everybody have to run half naked to show your sexuality to the sexual system of the romantic business because everybody get romantic. Oh, his buttocks look round and whatsoever look round. And you have to expose yourself that to suit the system. Everything is suiting the system. The American football business, what they call football. They used to use the skull of human being playing that in ancient Rome and ancient Greece. A
Yeah, they
long
used to
time,
post call or something.
it's long time that is going on, man. It's long time at the gladiator sport it name. At the arena business, when you see all the stadium, they name the arena. Who's going to the arena? You pay is millions of dollars. They used to play gladiators in Greece and ancient Rome, and now in modern Babylon here. Is the said thing going on? The said thing going on. So where's the morality? Where's the virtues? Where's the excellence of spirituality? Where that is? It's time for a woman to awake from them sleep and slumber. And remember, you're still down pressed. When you work, you're not even getting your full wages. Then still put you at the back of the bus and the back of the train mentally in the systematic train and the systematic bus. It's time for women to rise up and be partner with a hopeful man that you can male and female together and create and make we all work together to create a new world with decency, equal rights and justice for one and all, love, You know, start to live in love, start to live in truth. You know, care for each other. Make it a communal system of the world where we communicate and communal and take care of each other children, and that we can learn to cut out poverty and refugees and war and all these things, right? Because war is part of the economy. You know, a man has send him soldier to war, him send the priest to go pray to God. Look on it. Everybody holding on God. And me assure one say God is politics and religion. When people going to kill off one another in war, who then go then I bring a priest? Then I have a priest there to bless the army and talk to God for them, that they come back victorious, that they can bring back riches or suppress people or kill our people and do what they want to do. No, no one can tell me. I said the word God is political and religion. A politics and religion, man. Politricks and religion. Politricks and religion. The two of them is arms together, slaving out the people of this world, you know? And you have a guy sit up there talking about him as the Holy Father, where he want name, and he can talk to God. I know that the Creator don't talk to him. They come and tell people that I have spoken to them. They them come and tell people of the world what I say from what I do not say. But I don't know them, I never see them, I never spoken to them. Tell them that the word that they speak and deceive the people of this world is their own burden and their own judge. So them can't fool I.
We're very easy to be fooled, exactly. It's easy to fool the people of the earth when they have no eyes and blind mentally and deaf, and like it's very bad sometimes just to even talk to certain beings and make them see what you see, or try to make them perceive the truth, or just make them observant, just to ask some beings to be observant. Sometimes it's too much attention that they have to give. Like what I find a lot these days is that the phones is more important than anything in. They have made us even so much more blind and so much more addicts. Now everyone is walking with a little square box in their hand, and the younger generation now, that's all that matters for them. Their relationship, their parents do not matter. That everything is gone because their life is in that box, that phone box. That's something I find so crazy today. I see everyone walking around. They think it's so important what's on their phone. This is the thing. We have lost focus of what's important in life, what truly matters, and we give so much attention to nonsense like these. Anyway, that phone thing is completely mesmerizing me sometimes to see how beings are giving their life away to that.
Listen, everything in life is negative and positive. But the TV is negative and positive, the computer is negative and positive, the telephone is negative and positive. But if you allow yourself for the negative side of these mechanisms to control your psyche, that you cannot communicate with your brother and sister walking beside you. I see 6 people walking and all them have is a phone in them hand. Some people stamping all them foot and laughing. And I'm wondering, yes, man, it's a pimper's paradise, this. You're laughing when there is no joke. There is no joke because you become part of the pimper's paradise. And this is what the system has brought you down to. You become a robot. Seeing? Human robot. Seeing? Who's not robot to God and Jesus or Allah, whatever religion they want to fix up themselves in. You know? Religion caught up their mind. Politics caught up in their mind. They do not have no time to love, no time to know the truth, no time to know the fact. But if you go to one of them and say, sister and brothers, take some time and look in yourself. They say, who are you to come to talk to me? I am free to do what I want to do. Because in the system of Babylon and romantic, you are free to do all the negative things, all the things that is not moral, all the things that have no virtues in your life. You're free to do those things because this is what the system glorify. And so the followers glorify it also because all of them is in the rat race.
It's becoming very immoral, and we have come to accept everything that is immoral in our society. Like here in Canada, we're teaching a sex course to children at 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. My son came back to me last year. He was all on shock. He said, Daddy, they talk to us about sex in school. I said, I don't even think about that. He said, why do they talk to me about this? I said, he was 12. Do you think at 12 years old I had sex on my mind? Come on. That came later by programming and all that. But yeah, no, it's very immoral. Like drinking alcohol, you can get wasted, and like it's accepted. It's moral.
It's a
So
addict,
everything that
man.
is immoral is becoming moral.
You see what happened now? People do not know that sex is animalistic business, you know. Them believe it's divine love them really having. It's an animalistic business because in the sexology business, they have adopted habits of the animals and put it into their action and call it sex. So most time when people ask me about sex, I'm telling them, I don't deal with sex. Them say, oh, Midas, how you get your children them then? I say I get it through divine love. I do not deal with sex. So don't come to I with your sex business. That's why it become a habit. You know? Because you're right. Sex is part of animalistic behavior, and sex is part of what the system use to degrade women. Every product that they sell, they have to use women that is not dressed properly to sell their product. This is how, and women don't realize. That's why you have woman, you know, and you have woman. A woman is a positive female part of a man. Women correspond with men. Men, women. That means to say you are part of the tree of good and evil. Sometimes you do some good and sometimes and sometimes 99% of the time you are doing the negative things to yourself and you don't really know. Because there is no one to teach in the uniblind or your religious system that you go bow down on Sunday morning and Saturday and whatever you want to do with our Friday evening. No one is teaching the moral value of humanity or humanity because everybody caught up in romantic Rome.
And even when we start getting sick or feeling some kind of sickness, often we don't want to really take responsibility for what happened to us. And we often rely on the system, like the doctors and the hospital, and to get a cure. Like I'm pretty sure we can find something in nature that can help us to live in balance with our organism inside. Like it doesn't have to be chaos inside like it is outside. So that's what I'm saying. We can avoid a lot of chaos by just taking responsibility, and that will prevent probably a lot, because I think illness starts a lot with the negative thoughts. Like if you are a negative being, negative thoughts, and if you're positive, there's good chance your cells feels it and your body feels it, your heart especially. You'll be less stressed and less so I think it's a very positive thing to stay positive for yourself.
Yes, when you are free, you don't have to have stress. When you know the truth, You don't have to have stress. When you live love, you don't have stress. But you know when you have stress, when you eat bad food, drinking alcohol, kind of thing that poison your structure. See? And deal with the animalistic sex business. Everything breeds germs into your structure. You know? You, I am not saying that mankind cannot get sick, you know. I am not saying that, so I don't want people to take this argument and believe, say, I am so ignorant. But what I can say, 99% of what happened to us and let human beings sick is because you are participating outside the laws of nature and hurting your own self. Because when you eat meat, you're more sick. Because mankind didn't create it to eat meat. You're drinking animal blood, you're drinking animal milk, animal have is disease, you eat the disease, you're smoking cigarette, you're drinking alcohol, you know, you're taking drugs, you're contaminating your structure, then you're ball about you're sick, and you run into the doctor, and the doctor give you some pill and some tablets and some drugs to keep you want you to continue be sick, so that the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors them can make money. They don't care a damn about your life.
And again, this is the world and the earth. So in the world, there is pills and pharmacies and doctors and charlatans and all kinds of beings that's gonna suggest you things to cure yourself. Or there's the earth that you can use natural remedy to cure yourself or just to stay healthy. Like there's a lot of technique you can use also. Like you can remove your rubber shoes once in a while to ground yourself on the earth. It's very positive because it will take the positive ion inflammation for you from your body and transfer it to the earth. The earth is neutral. It's like the plane of inertia, I think they call it. So yeah, so there is a lot of benefit to be on the earth and to ground yourself within the earth and not only in the world of Babylon and all their pharmacies and stuff.
The earth is part of the universe and is here we live, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're living in this world and you're not part of this world, then you're living in laws and coordination of the earth and the universe. See? But you go with some people now. They have one step forward and one step backward. Still holding on to the world. You understand me? And they are wondering each and every day, oh, I cannot make these changes. Oh, things is happening to me. This is not working for me. I am not happy. Oh, I cannot find someone who love me or someone to love. Everything is crazy. Yes, everything is crazy because you allow yourself to let the system run you crazy. Because the system love to see you crazy. Because sometimes they can carry you to the asylum so that doctor can give you injection that you get more crazy. No, they don't have to give you any injection. They send you to the pharmacy to you pop some pills and some tablets.
And also, everything is to deplete our energy. We are energetic beings, so every affecting our energy is key for the magical magic of Babylon. And that comes with food, like giving us food that is hard to digest and stuff will make you very waste energy in digestion. Uh, sex takes out a lot of our energy. It's like if you have sex every day, you're probably not gonna have as much energy as if you retain your energy a little bit. Like that's why they don't want boxers to have sex. We're gonna call it sex. For me, it's not so much sex, but it's not about sex today so much. It's more about yeah, the communion or the divine love or something like you said. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think everything is there to deplete our energy.
Because they educate the male and female to become a addict to sex.
Yeah, exactly.
Sexual addicts. Some become rapists
Yeah,
because they do not have the patience to communicate or to speak with a woman in a friendly and loving way to see if the both of you is corresponding in the right harmony so you can really share divine love together. No, it's a sex thing because every movie, almost 99.9% of all the movies that they make, they have to put a sex act in there to attract,
it's
keep you down.
guns and sex.
Yes, gun, sex, and rock and roll and drugs. See the fourth thing? Drugs, sex, gun, and rock and roll.
Yeah,
So when you're rocking and you're rolling, right? You don't know where you is because you're rocking and you're rolling. That's why people don't want to admit and people don't want to deal with conscious music. I trust music. Music with higher heights. Music that can show you the truth and uplift your psyche, uplift your vitality, so you can communicate with the positivity within yourself. No, them have to give you something to rile up yourself. It's like you go to some record producers, you start to sing the truth. Midas, we don't record those things here, you know. We want you to sing something romantic. We want you to sing,
romantic.
yeah, we want you to sing something that men and women can relate to. You know, your kind of love is not the kind of love we are dealing with. So I said, I can't sing so much life it please you, you know. You want me tell a woman, you want me sing and tell a woman, write songs telling woman that me will swim the ocean and climb the mountain just to go have sex with her. Me say, me's not that kind of man. Me's a different kind of man. So you can't deal with I because I'm not going to bow down to your systematic deeds to please you in your romantic desire. Me say, me's not here to uplift your romantic desire. Me I deal with truth and right and love.
Hence why we have a lot of love song going around and uh, like love song. It's
None
more
of them,
romantic song.
excuse me, man. None of them is no, none of them, all of them is sexual appealing songs. None of them not giving no morality. See? And when the young ladies, them young men go to the concert, hey, yeah, yeah, everything get exciting. Whoa, he's the greatest. And I say, what is the greatest about? Oh, he sings how he hold his my hand and the way it make me feel. I say, oh, you feel. You don't know, you know? And people caught up into the systematic realms of those romantic ideas. Seeing? That's why some people become crazy, you know? And when they get deceived, both male and female get deceived, telling people, oh, I fall in love. So fall in love, you can't fall in love. Love is what you live, man. You can't fall in it. It's serious more than that because they taught people that having sex is love when sex now have nothing to do with love and love have nothing to do with sex.
Love is something you rise with. I'm more under that impression today, but yeah, I used to say fall in love. But yeah, that's why we are falling also as men and women. So we should rise in love. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because when you fall, somebody must get hurt. That's why I'm saying there's no educational lesson within the system, whether it's political or religious, teaching no subject that love is a way of life and how we can let it be a way of life, caring for each other, working with each other, helping each other. No, they don't want that. They don't want that because the only way it can work unless you live it. I am not saying that me's a perfect person in all these things. I am learning. I am a learning man each and every day. Make mistake each and every day. Have some ignorance in I that is systematic that I have to work on. You know, I'm not saying that I am pure and clean, so I don't want no one outside listening to this program believe me's a holy man. Me's not a holy man. Me's just a natural man struggling through life, trying to learn who I am and what I can be.
Yeah, but I like what you said when we want to know something. You said like that, but I think there's something deep down inside each and every one of us that wants to know the truth, that knows the truth, maybe, but there's the ego. There's something we haven't talked about and takes a huge part in most people's life, and it's their ego, and the ego is stronger than their own truth. Like the ego is the lies, is the deceiver within you. So the ego sometimes can take a huge part in our life. So have you struggled with that?
Of course, you have to struggle with it because when listen, when you go to school and when you adopt bad principle from the world that we are living in, you develop ego. But after a while, you get to find out that ego is a negative thing and you have to work to make things happen. And if you don't work to make things happen, it's not going to happen by itself. So if you want to counteract your egos, you have to work on it. And at the same time, is what you put in is what you get out. You know, is what you put in that's what you get out. And you have to learn to don't press and suppress your ego and to look on the other side of the possibility that you can rebuild yourself to be a better person and try to live the best you can.
To be the love and light being that we're supposed to be. And I think each and every one of us has the potentiality to reach that. It's not something, but for that we need key number 26, which is destroy your demons, because I think we have a lot of those inside. Again, that comes pretty much with the ego programming of our part of our being. So destroy your demon, become a coherent archetype, like not a coherent example, but an archetype. Division is like a poisonous snake, an antisocial venom that curse through us, clouding the inner feelings, social, eternal intelligence. Purging that poison out could lead us to universal collaboration with others, plus also feeling the quintessence love that we have surrounding us. It's all about feeling, after all. It's how you feel each and every day and what you're able to feel, right?
Well, remember, no child is born with demon in them.
Okay.
Demon is demons is part of the systematic teaching of the romantic system and the Babylonian system, because the romantic system and the Babylonian system work hand in hand. Babylon is the Protestant of the romantic system, is the female part of the romantic system. So when people is telling people, is people teaching people about demons, that you have demons in you, and I'm going to get out the demons in you. Those things was taught by the world we are living in, the system we are living in, and the bad environment of mankind in educating other people. Because listen, some people in this world don't learn about those things, you know. But mostly in the religious part of the system, when you don't accept Jesus, right? When them say that you're born in sin and shaped in iniquity, then them claim that you're full of demons and you have to get the devil out of you.
I changed it. I put negativity. Destroy your negativity.
Yeah.
That's why I do that. So I get more insights. And it's true to teach other beings about demons. It's a bit crazy. It's like
The
yeah.
demon no exist. Demon because we don't born with demon. Is a word they take to cover the word negative, the negativity. So then just don't want to tell you about the negativity. They tell you about demons. But demons always come from some religious cult.
And again, it's the world and the earth because demon in French is an anagram for monde. Monde is the world. So demon and monde are the same word. Just scramble the letter a little bit and you get the same word. So I found that a bit weird, yeah, to take the word monde, which is world, and it gives you demon.
Listen, I don't remember which scientist, but when when Europe was in its dark stages, there were some people, a few, not say some people, a few people who was discovering science and engineering and all these things, right? Some of them was cast away and die because the church said them is demons. You understand me? Yeah, the church claimed them as demons. The first man that built a aeroplane, I don't remember his name. The church say them is demons because them are going to outer space. We go interfere in God business. And then I live to see all these people from the church now flying in aeroplane, so no demons no more because them is flying in the aeroplane. Yeah, you understand what I said? There's a time gone by when you don't give collection to the church. Them says the demons in you why you don't want to give 10% of your talents to God. See? So it's a money business. That's why I tell you, say, well then, the God business I deal with, as I know it, is politics, economics, and religion. It's a money making machine. It's a machine to make money.
And they don't want you to forget the church also because also here in Quebec we speak French, but we speak not the same French. We have certain expressions, certain words we put in the language and stuff, and the accent and stuff. But there's something we do that I don't think any other French-speaking beings do anywhere in the world, and we bring all the church words as swear, like tabarnak, calice, saint crème, hostie, calice. That all these are church words, and we use it as swear words. It's very bad when you say these words. Like it's not nice to hear someone speak French here in Quebec and that they swear all the time. Calice, the tabarnak. Like it's very negative to hear that, but they make sure that it stays with the culture. Culture again.
Yes, you see, culture means civilization too. So when you're getting civilized and label you as a cult, you see, the church is good. Is religion is a culprit. Church is good. You know, I and I denounce religion long time out of my psyche because I never grew up as no religious child.
Well, here in Quebec, it was very different. Like me, I was influenced a bit by that. My parents weren't very churchgoers, but still, I remember going to church.
I grew up not going to no church, no
That,
religion.
yeah.
I grew up not going to no religion, no synagogue, no religious synagogue. You see, and people used to discriminate against us as a child. Me and my brother used to say call we two little devils because on Sunday or Saturday we don't go into the synagogues, the religious synagogues. You know, because my grandmother personally tell I. Say all those people that is praying, nobody now listen to them. Is them I listen to themselves. There's no supernatural power outside, in outer space or beside them hearing what they're confessing to. The only way you can confess is stop what you're doing. Me learn and know that. So no religious leaders can come convince me that me must give them 10% of my earning because me I give it to God. So me know say religious business are God business and politics are God business and economical things are God business. You know what I mean? I mean, not into those kind of business. And people of this world, most people, they caught up in these systematic things so much in the romantic and the Babylonian thing that they are not willing to read and take a look into the metallurgy and the theory of things that is not reality.
And it's not that hard to break the cycle of ignorance. No? Just get yourself to acquaint yourself with what's going on in the world and within yourself, and then teach it to your own children. And boom, you have break the cycle of Babylon. Like that's what I did. First thing when I started to inquire a little bit more and ask questions deeply about my existence and the fact that I was here on Earth and observing, I start talking more and more to my children because I didn't want them to be caught up in fantasy. Now the rest is up to them. But in my youth, I wasn't teach many things by not that my parents were very good parents to their eyes and to the eyes of many, but especially one day I did a little mistake is I told my mother that she should have taught me about Babylon and all that stuff. I should have never told that to her. That made a huge break. We didn't talk for a few months, and she was very enraged after me. She thought I was telling her that she was not a good mother and this. So they get very, very sensitive when it touched their ego. So today I know not to talk. Today I shut my mouth most of the time.
Yes, sometime in life,
Yeah,
some look at it this way. I have my children too, but I don't tell my children to be like I.
that's it.
Yeah, you understand me? Them is there to choose their own path. And if they choose the negative part, it's for them problem. If they choose the positive part, it's their problem, it's their responsibility, it's not my own. You know?
Responsibility.
Yes, it's their responsibility, it's not my own responsibility. You know? It's always a two road before you. Pick your choice. It is up to you. The choice that you pick is the life you live. You know? And the life you live is what you mold yourself to be or build yourself to be. I'm not making a choice with no one. The only thing I can say to each and every one, I am not going to get caught up in no religious superstition or any religious theory. Because I tell anyone I can say, show me something. No one can show me anything in this world today where God write or where God say or where Jesus say or Jesus write. Because I look on it, right? I read where Moses said Jesus said to him. And yet still is not Moses write it, is our next man write it. Is Flavius Josephus say that? You know? Pauline and Eusebius and Marcion and all these people write all these Apollonius write all these books and all these saying, and nobody don't want to look clear. If you look into the New Testament, the gospel according to St. John, the gospel according to St. Matthew, the gospel according to St. Peter, Augustine, it never say Jesus Christ say anything. And you're going to the Old Testament, you never see anything in there that God say. Is a man say, God talk to him and tell him to do it. So I wonder to myself all these years, why is it since I born and grew up, God is not talking to no one again? God don't have no one calling him up into the mountain, to no special place, telling him to. So I want to know. So God can't call no one in the special place to solve the problems of the world we live in. Look how much war and pestilence. People fighting against each other, hating each other, killing each other. And you want to tell me, say God not see nobody if you call them up in the mountain and bring down a commandment and say, hey, this is the new revolution that you can live and share with so that mankind can cure themselves from the mental and social disease that we're living into.
Yeah, and the Jesus thing is a lot associated with like astrology and all that. And if you look at when Jesus came into the portrait, was with the age of Pisces. They say Jesus was a fisherman and this and that. So you look at all this and you start to realize that it's just probably fantasy, and that 2,000 years ago, what the Son of God never came back. Like there's never been anything after that. Like what is it now? We're gonna have a new Jesus coming with the age of Aquarius. Like that's in, I think it's 2146 exactly in their thing that the age of Aquarius starts. So what? There's going to be another Jesus then?
They will come up with a next name, man.
Another name? That's it's going to wear
Yes,
another
they
name.
will come up with a next name. They will come up with a next name, right? Because that is how it really goes. You know, I ask plenty people the said question. You know, the whole New Testament is about astrology, cosmology, and zodiacs. You know, because look at it. Each zodiac take 28,000 years to finish its cycle. Yes, to finish its cycle around the universe. The zodiac is part of the engine. It's the main engine for the universe. Same like how we have engine in our structure, you build a car, you make an engine in there. The zodiac is the engine. And within the zodiac, there's different parts and different mechanism or whatsoever to keep the cycle of this world together. So every time one cycle finish, there's a next cycle, right? This is how it works. Because listen, 7,000 years is one day in the cycle of the universe. 7,000 years in our cycle is one day in the cycle of the universe.
Is that why they say that the dog age, dog which is God, reverse, is 7 times the age of a human? I
Yeah.
I always found that weird. How can they say that the dog's age is 7 times? But you just said something there.
Let me tell you something. I'm not going to tell you. Go and Google where the word God transfer from and then when we talk, and then we talk about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, just go on
yeah.
Google and Google the word geogod and Google the root, the origin of where the word God derived from, and it will show you.
And now there's that thing also. Everybody says, "Oh my God, oh my God," and now we have more and more OMG, like genetically modified food. In French, it's OGM. OGM is the same letter. Like, all this is, to me, sounds a bit too coincidental. But
Yeah,
yeah, we will have the chance to talk again, Midas, definitely.
yeah.
And it would be interesting to bring back the topic of God and all this, and yeah, so we can really have a clear sense of our stance here.
Yes, and you can Google the origin of the word Christos.
Yeah, Christos, like Christopher Columbus.
No,
Again,
Christos.
yeah, Christos.
Because listen, Christos is where they translate the word Jesus from
Christos.
in English. So it's Christos in Greek or Christ in Greek. But the word Christos comes from the word Krishna in India.
Ah,
So when the Greek translate and fix up, they put the word Christos. And then in English, they translate the word and write Jesus Christ and whatever they want to fix up.
wow.
The word Christ means the anointed. That's what the word Christ means, to anointed. When the Pharaoh then was going to get power in Egypt, they were anointed by the priests. See, all right. You see when the president of United States inauguration, the word inauguration means to get anointed. But they change the word anointed and put inauguration. That's why them have the president swear to the Bible
Yeah.
to is the inauguration. And them have these big thousands and big party and all these things, man. That's what they do. Looks now, they steal the thing from Egypt, fix it for them own way, and things that people wouldn't read and study history and find the roots. When you see the president here is getting the inauguration, he's anointed to be president of the United States or president of the so-called free world.
You know, I get it. Even in court, you put your hand on the. Everywhere they bring that. They want you to buy the bull.
Yes, because him is just the face, the
It's not that bad.
sportsman, the
Yeah.
face. The guy that rule the world now come around and not show you them face on anything.
No, no.
Because whether you is prime minister or whether you is president or dictatorship leaders, nobody knows who's around the corner. The guy that will control the power, yet no one not seen them. You know? Because listen, no leader in the world today that we live is elected. Every one of them is selected.
And dictators are always pretty much men.
Dictators is always men.
I've
Dictators.
rarely seen a woman becoming a dictator.
Well, I think you have a few of them in history, you know. Queen Victoria was a
Ah,
dictator.
yeah, yeah. And there
Queen
should.
Elizabeth the First was a dictator. You have about five of them, man.
Yeah, yeah. Queen Elizabeth. Yeah,
Yes, in history, dictators.
yeah,
And do a lot of evil works too.
yeah, yeah.
So, you know,
It's just the word sounds weird when it's all, but it all goes back to again sex, like we said, all their madness. So the word dictator for me is directly manipulation of the human psyche for sure.
yes, yes. Dictators of economical and political power going on, you know.
Just to manipulate humanity.
Yes, it seems like our the church, the synagogue, them of religion, the pastor is the dictator over the followers because everything the pastor read and say, him says God says so or Jesus says so, and him get dream last night say an angel of the Lord come to him and say him say all these things. So I want to know at this present time in history why the angel of the Lord is not coming come show mankind how them can if, evolve out of the situation that mankind is in and the world is in. All of them think there's just fantasy, man. A romantic business doors.
And often those preachers often just talk about the past. That's why they're pastor, I guess, and very not very much present with the present and what's going on and the real reality of the people in the crowd that they're addressing. So they always bring them back in the past, and yeah, that's why they are pastors.
They tell you something, they tell you a sequence of time that no one cannot see. Them telling you about the past, about the future, right?
Yeah.
And all these people that they're medicating you about dead already. So I want to know, where dead man can't come out of the grave, come do for I. No dead man can't come out of the grave, come do anything for I. Seeing? Everything is about the past or the future, man. They make sure nobody don't want to deal with the present. Because you know what you know what they're catching in? Jesus is going to come and solve the present. Allah is going to come and solve the present. Krishna is going to come and solve the present. And the Messiah is coming to solve the present. And none of them cannot come because none of them do not exist. So how can they come?
But that's the fantasy. We expect someone to come down and fix our nonsense and our irresponsible brat behavior. But it's up to us to take responsibility, be responsible adults as we can be, and move out of our baby. Wake the baby. I say often, wake the baby.
I just say, awake the town and tell the people.
Yeah, wake the town. That's it.
Awake the world and tell the people.
Yeah.
That the time of fantasy and romantic business is going out of existence. It's time for I and I to deal with reality, truth and fact.
I think the more we go on and the more those Babylonian energies are going down, like you say, it's being down pressed, and we start to rise more and more as a sentient being of the earth. So it's a very hopeful. If not, I would not be here. If I wouldn't have hope for humanity, I wouldn't be here.
Kingdom rise and kingdom fall.
Yeah.
Just like how we don't reach the cycle of Aquarius yet, but they manipulate people's mind and say, oh, we are in Aquarius, we in spices, we're coming to the ending of spices, man. Spicy, as how they want to call it. Okay? But here what really happened.
Exactly.
At the end of spicy ending here, all that was hidden from the wise and prudent, or what that was kept by the wise and prudent, shall reveal to babe and suckling in this time, man. So all the people them who don't think so them wise, everything is going to reveal. Because hear what happened. One of the greatest revealer in this world today is the computer. Because it is written, when the word of the wise man and all the prophets that romantic and Babylon have killed and don't want to listen to human being no more, I will let wood and stone speak to you. So you see the computer is wood and stone make it. It is speaking to people today. So the truth is on the computer and the big lies and fabrication is on the computer too. So whosoever read it and seek it will see the fact and the reality and the truth for themselves, for ourselves that they are hiding.
Again, comes down to those who have eyes will see, and those who have ears will hear.
Yes, who have he that seeketh will find it also.
Exactly.
If you seek, you shall find.
I was seeking all that stuff that I'm doing here. If I wouldn't have took a decision one day to let go of the TV and the distraction and start really relearning things like how to behave on Earth and stuff like that, I would probably not do the things I do today. But yeah, took a decision, and conscious by conscious, a present decision, and that's it. That brought me to open up. To open up. That's it. And
Open up, escape from the mental prison.
that's it. So thank you very much again,
Yes,
Rasmidas.
yes,
It was
yes, yes.
an enormous joy for me to hold that reasoning with you. And thanks, Karen, also in the chat. Karen, Will of Earth, my great brother, Will of Earth from Manitoba, Canada. And who I had, the Bassier HD and Virtus. Anyway, all of you commenting in the chat. It's always very appreciative your presence, and that's it. You are here, present and listening. So yeah, we give thanks for that, because that's why a bit we don't do this to impress anybody, or to it's to be true to ourselves, and we know there is a part of the responsibility within us that calls us to do that. And no, it feels great all the time. The feeling, I'm sure, is shared with my brother Rasmidas.
Yeah, it's just reasoning together. It's the reasoning, man. And
That's it.
give thanks to all the listeners and to who participate in Brother Tru-Mon book
Yeah.
and the knowledge that he has obtained and sharing with the world. It was really gratifying to I
Yeah.
that the spirit of communication has get I and I together, and we have to give a wonderful and big up thanks to Nan Lewis of Entertainment Works for our participation in let us in getting the two of us together, because she realized that the both of us have something in common, and having something in common is sharing what we have discovered, and we are sharing it with people of the world, whether they accept it or not. So great up to the wonderful woman,
Yeah.
Nan Lewis.
Our job,
Yeah.
man. And also, this one is going to be, I think, the last one with Google Hangout on air. This thing is getting shut down tomorrow. It's no more possible to have Hangout on air on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe we're making too much noise together, and they decide to shut down the Hangout live on air. But it's for everyone. It's being shut down. I will see what's the possibility for Hangout, probably via Skype or something. Maybe
Yes.
there's an encoder I can use, or where I can set up through Twitch TV, or there's many things I gotta check. But I want to see tomorrow what's happening with the Hangout on air. What's my possibility now to broadcast? Maybe there will be something else. I don't know. I just keep seeing the message that the 1st of August it's ending. So we are the 31st of July. So yeah.
Sometimes you have to make certain that is true, because you have a lot of fake thing that come over the computer. It's a lot of fake thing that come over the computer. So if I was like you, I would get in touch with Google, the real Google, and find out if is a fact that they are cutting down on this program here, because it can be true, but I have a little doubt.
Yeah, I find that a bit. I found that drastic. It's a good tool. It's perfect to broadcast on YouTube. I don't know what is gonna happen, but we will see tomorrow as
Yeah,
goes on.
we will see.
Yeah, yeah.
And if everything is okay, then we do it on Sunday. So don't worry.
That's it.
While there's a will, there's a way. You know.
Yeah,
All right.
perfect. So I will
Yes.
see you again next Sunday. Like I said, I'll talk to Nan to coordinate
Yeah.
all this and to make it happen. But
Yeah.
large up Midas, large up Nan, also Nan Lewis from Entertainment Works, which
Yes.
a lot of work in the background to
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
She
and
do,
thanks
she
all
do a
the
lot of things in the back. In the I don't call it background. She do a lot of things in the front
foreground.
ground.
She's in the foreground. Yeah.
Yes, she's in the front ground.
But that's my programming talking. So we
I
have
realize that. Yes. Love to everyone. Give thanks.
love, more love, and it's all love anyway. So oh,
Yes.
we're up.
I agree.
See ya.
Okay.